Again, plenty of room on the sides, and it's looking pretty good. This is going to work out great. Hello, welcome to WayPoint Survival. Today, we're on week 3 of our 30-day hobo survival challenge. And this week, we're working on a hobo sleeping bag. I think you're going to like it. Stay tuned. For those of you who have not seen the other videos, this is 3 of a 4-part series where we are making modern-day survival gear for a hobo. And so the hobos, of course, in the classic era were traveling working men mostly. There were a few women that did it, but in large part they were male. It was a dangerous and difficult life, but they were traveling from place to place looking for work because the area in which they were located, especially during the Depression and sometimes after the Civil War, World War I, there were different eras where there were difficult times. And so they would travel to try to find work. Some of them did have families. Many of them were single men, however. But we're rebuilding a lot of those skills and ideas. So the idea behind this 4-week series, 30 days, where we're challenging you to make the gear that we're making, either similar or something that you come up with on your own, is to put together a complete hobo kit. And then for the 5th video, we're going to take this out and we're going to actually camp with it and see how well it does. In the first video, we showed you how to make a hobo pack sack. The second video, we showed you how to make your very own waterproof tent, and I think you'll like that. I've got another episode coming out where I write out a rainstorm in it. You're going to want to watch that. This next one is going to be the hobo sleeping bag. And for this, we went to the thrift store, Salvation Army, and we got this pack blanket. And the price on it here is $9.99. You can see that. And yeah, I think I got this on half off day. So green was half off, so I got this for, I believe, $5. Now, this is a packing blanket. And the reason I got that was because of its size. That's going to make more sense here in a little bit. It's also very durable. They're made to be really tough because they're made to be packed around dressers and beds and chairs and all sorts of things and in and out of moving vans. So they're made really tough. And I was looking at the tag here and I thought it was really interesting. It says U-line moving blanket. This is the camouflage version, not that it matters, but it says that it is covering, the covering is 100% polyester. The filling is 100% undetermined fibers. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that on anything, but for a hobo, it's going to do just fine. So we're going to rip this tag off, get started on the next part of the project. To do this project, you're going to need just a few simple things. You're going to need some sort of a cutting tool. You could use scissors. You're going to need some sort of paracord, bank line, whatever, but you need something that's going to untie easily, and paracord does that very well. I like the orange color. It kind of goes against the camouflage pretty well, but it's also easier to see, and that's important. You're going to need a large, probably a 16 penny nail, so one of those, and then you're going to want some sort of a lighter. And speaking of traveling from place to place, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Electric E-Bikes. This is the brand new electric XP Lite 2.0. It only weighs 49 pounds, and it folds small enough to carry in the trunk or even in the back seat of a car. To unfold it and ride it takes only about a minute. No tools needed. You need to get up to speed fast? Just twist the throttle. No pedaling required. And now you're cruising up to 20 miles per hour on pure electric power. A Gates carbon belt drive replaces the messy chain, so there's no grease to get on your pants, and it's practically maintenance free. You know, as important as it is to go, the ability to stop also matters. Powerful dual hydraulic disc brakes with large rotors gives you confident one-finger control, even in wet conditions. The excellent color display indicates exactly how far you can go, and with the optional long-range battery, you can ride up to 80 miles before you even have to think about recharging it. And thanks again to Electric E-Bikes for sponsoring this video. Are you ready to join over 500,000 happy riders? If so, you can click the QR code that's been showing on your screen, or you can click on the link in the description box below, as well as in the top pinned comment of the video. Also make sure and grab your free e-bike cover with the code WayPoint. So check out their amazing lineup of popular electric e-bikes. There's something there for everyone, and at great prices too. Also, if you notice, I've got a sheet of plywood laid out here for a good working surface. And first thing that we're going to do is we're going to come in here to the corner, and we need to heat up the tip of the nail. So just take your time and heat that up. When you get that heated sufficiently, you want to take the nail, and then you want to come to one of your corners right here, and whichever one you want to start with. I'm starting with the bottom, and you want to push it through like that so that it makes a really good hole all the way through. Next, you want to take your paracord and you want to cut off a piece about 17 inches long. And then, of course, because it's paracord, you want to go ahead and melt the ends. And those of you who know anything about paracord, do not get this on you. It will indeed burn. All right, there we go. We just have to singe the end, make sure that it doesn't unravel on us. And of course, the other end of your paracord as well. When you get that done, go ahead and poke this up through the bottom corner, just like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a square knot. So right over left and left over right. Pull that tight, just like that. And that is right here in the corner, and we're using this black section here so it kind of bunches up around it. And that's exactly what we're looking for. And then we're going to take the opposite corner and we're going to do the exact same thing. I'll do that and get back with you. When you get that done, you should have two cords about 17 inches long or so and tied to the bottom right here, each side with a square knot. Now, we're going to go ahead and fasten these together. And all I'm going to do to fasten them together is a simple bow, like you would use to tie your shoes. Okay, so that's going to be our very first. And notice that they both face the same direction. Now, we're going to go ahead across the entire bottom here, and we're going to put 4 across the bottom. Of course, this is the folded end. It doesn't need one here, but we're going to start here. So there'll be a total of 1 on each end, and then 2 more in the middle. That's going to form the bottom. And when you're finished, you're going to end up with something that looks like this. We have our bows in 4 areas, and the bottom is now fastened together, but we can still open it up and use it as a blanket. All right, now that we've got the end done and tied together, the fold is on this side, and so we've got the open end here. You can see, got it laid out on our piece of plywood. You want to match these ends. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the very same thing we did across the bottom. About every foot or so, we're going to put a couple of ties. So just come on up here. Again, it's kind of a guess. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just trying to make this look as even as possible, and so we can fasten it together. Okay, so you can see what we've got here. We've got 4 down at the bottom, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a total of 10. Now on these lower ones here, I went ahead and put a double tie in them, so a double knot as it's called, because I don't want to have to loosen those all the time. And I did that all the way up to this one. So the top 2 are just a regular bow, so I can easily open them up like this, pull it apart, and then pull this back so I can slip in. All right, so this is the flap here, and then you just tie them back together when you're ready to go to sleep, or just flap it over the top. And the reason we do it this way, instead of sewing it or anything like that, is this makes it much easier to use as a blanket still. So if I don't want a sleeping bag, I can just untie all of these and then just open it all the way up. And it's a cheap and easy way to fasten it together without having all of the mess that you would have normally. Now, if it gets cold and you want to get something that's big enough to cover you, of course, you can just take this edge here and you can roll it under like that and lay on top of it. That's to keep the draft from coming in the side. So there's different things that you can do for this. Now, one of the reasons that I picked this bag was because I wanted it to be wide enough for me to get in, or this blanket rather, to make a bag out of. So if it's stretched across, you can see here, put it across this way where my shoulders are, I can easily get in here and have room to move around and shift depending on how you like to sleep. I often end up being a side sleeper, and so when I can get around on the side and I'm not all bound up, It makes me more comfortable. This also gives a little bit more room in case we need to put the gear in. All right, let's go stick it in the hobo tent and see how it does. All right, so here we are. We've got our hobo sleeping bag ready to go. We're just gonna stick it in the shelter and then climb inside and kind of see how everything fits. All right, well, fits in there pretty good. I'll give you a close-up of it. All right, so you can see, again, plenty of room on the sides, and it's looking pretty good. All right, let's climb in. Of course, we're gonna take our shoes off before we climb inside the bag. Keep those in the tent. All right, let's see what we got here. Slide down in here. Oh yeah, there is plenty of room in here. This is going to work out great. And the good thing about it is all of the knots and everything are holding together really well, and it's nice and warm, and because of what it's made from, it's going to dry out really fast as well, and it's going to be well insulative at the same time. So I'm imagining that probably down to 20-30 degrees this will probably be okay. Of course, you want to put something under you in cold weather, but we can do that with branches or leaves or debris or something, or some garbage bags stuffed with newspaper, things like that. So yeah, this is going to work. Great sleeping bag. Well folks, I hope you've enjoyed this little foray into the world of the hobo as we make our own gear, as we test it out, and of course looking forward to going out and doing an overnighter with this. Make sure and stay tuned next week for part 4 of this series. I'm going to show you how to make a handy dandy cook set. You're going to like that one. Make sure and watch it. Thanks so much. This is James Bender for WayPoint Survival. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also make sure and check out the links in the description box below, just under the More button. While you're down there, you'll find the link for WayPoint Survival Digital Class. This is where you can train in the comfort and convenience of your own backyard the top 20 skills that we consider to be the most important from our Phase 1 Survival and Bushcraft class. You'll also find the link for WayPoint Survival and Prepping 101 newsletter, absolutely free to you, comes out at least once a week, if not more often, right into your inbox, and allows us to stay in touch with you in case something happens to this platform. You'll also find the link for waypointsurvival.com, which is where you can sign up to take in-person classes here at our beautiful training facility in Southern Ohio. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. And when you do subscribe, make sure and press that bell button so that you can stay notified of all of our upcoming videos, and we'll talk to you next time. Well, we've got some thunder.